The New York City air hung thick and heavy, a typical August night buzzing with sirens and distant laughter. Inside my meticulously organized Upper West Side apartment, a different kind of chaos was brewing, a silent storm gathering force in my gut. It started innocently enough. Thursday night, wallet check before heading out for drinks with Ben and Mark, and nothing. Empty pocket. Panic, cold and sharp, pricked at my skin. Keys, phone, wallet. The holy trinity of urban survival. Keys check. Phone check. Wallet vanished. I tore the place apart. Couch cushions became airborne. Drawers emptied onto the floor. Even the fridge got a cursory glance, as if my worn leather billfold had sprouted legs and wandered off in search of a midnight snack. Nothing. Frustration morphed into a gnawing unease. Where the hell could it be? Then, a flicker of hope. The Ring doorbell camera. Maybe, just maybe, I'd dropped it outside coming home the night before. Fingers crossed, I pulled up the app, scrolling back through the previous day's recordings. Squirrels scampering across the stoop, the mailman's familiar slouch, a couple arguing on the sidewalk, the usual urban tableau. And then it hit me. Not what I was looking for, not the lost wallet, but something far, far worse. Something that punched a hole right through my carefully constructed reality. There she was, Jessica, my Jessica, opening the door, not to me coming home late from the office, but to Tony, the fresh-faced plumber who'd unclogged our bathroom sink back in June, barely 2 months ago. "Hey, Tony." Jessica's voice, warm, welcoming, a smile blooming on her face that I hadn't seen directed at me in weeks. "Thanks for coming over so last minute." Tony grinned back, a flash of white teeth against tan skin. His eyes lingered on Jessica, on the way her summer dress clung to her curves. "No problem at all, Jessica. Always happy to help." Help. My blood turned to ice. He stepped inside, Jessica moving aside, ushering him in like he was a long-lost friend, not some guy who fixed a leaky pipe. They disappeared further into the apartment, out of the camera's view, and into... What? My mind screamed, refusing to process the implications, yet the grainy images on my phone burned themselves into my brain. Surely not. Jessica wouldn't. We had a life, a good life, didn't we? Apartment overlooking Central Park, weekends in the Hamptons, plans for everything. But the video was undeniable. An hour and a half crawled by, each minute an eternity. Then he reappeared. Tony, coming from upstairs. Our bedroom. Shirt rumpled, hair a mess, a smug, satisfied look that twisted my stomach into knots. Jessica followed moments later, dress askew, hair tangled, a guilty flush creeping up her neck. The truth slammed into me. A brutal, sickening wave. Betrayal. Raw, visceral, gut-wrenching betrayal. Numb. I forced myself to keep watching. Next day. Another recording. Another man. Chris. Our neighbor from across the hall. Friendly Chris, always borrowing sugar and offering to water our plants when we were away. Chris. Walking into my apartment while I was at a client meeting downtown, Same warm smile from Jessica, same welcoming gesture, same... Upstairs, rage, hot and blinding, clawed its way up my throat. When Jessica finally came home that evening, I could barely look at her. The sight of her, the smell of her perfume, everything that had once been familiar and comforting now felt tainted, repulsive. I wanted to scream, to shatter every piece of furniture in the apartment, to unleash the fury that was tearing me apart inside. But the words choked in my throat, a lump of pure, bitter betrayal lodged there, suffocating me. David. Jessica's brow furrowed, her eyes scanning my face, a flicker of something. Concern? Guilt? In their depths. What's wrong, honey? You look like you've seen a ghost. Ghost? More like a demon. My demon. I said nothing, just grabbed my laptop, the screen already open to the Ring app, the damning footage queued up. I hit play. Jessica's breath hitched. Her eyes widened, pupils dilating as the reality of what she was seeing crashed down on her. Color drained from her face, leaving her pale and trembling. David, she stammered, voice barely a whisper. Tears welled, shimmering in the soft light of the living room. Max, I can explain. Explain? Explain what? Explain how she'd turned our home, our sanctuary, into a cheap motel. Explain what, Jessica? My voice cracked, raw with pain and fury. Explain how you let not one but two men into our apartment. Into our bed? The words tasted like acid on my tongue. It was a mistake, she sobbed, reaching for me, her hand outstretched, pleading. A horrible mistake. I was lonely. You were always working late. It just happened. But it didn't mean anything, David, I swear. I recoiled from her touch as if burned. Disgust, pure and potent, surged through me. Didn't mean anything, I spat, the words laced with venom. How can you stand there and say it didn't mean anything? You betrayed us, Jessica. You betrayed our marriage, our vows, our entire life together. The argument exploded, a volcanic eruption of pent-up rage and hurt. Harsh words flew like shrapnel, tearing through the fragile remnants of our relationship. Jessica begged for forgiveness, pleaded for understanding, but I was deaf to her pleas. The trust, the love, the years we'd built together, reduced to ashes scattered at our feet. "Get out!" I snarled, my hands clenched into fists, knuckles white. "I want you out of this apartment, out of my life. We're done, Jessica. Done." Her sobs echoed in the sudden, cavernous silence, but I was unmoved. The woman I thought I knew, the woman I had sworn to love and cherish, was a stranger, a phantom wearing a familiar face. "David, please," she implored, her voice cracking with desperation. Just give me a few days to find a place. I'll go, I promise. Please don't do this." But my mind was made up, a cold, unshakable resolve hardening my heart. I pointed towards the door, my hand trembling slightly, but my voice firm. "Leave now." And so, with a broken heart and a lifetime of memories clinging to her like a shroud, Jessica gathered a few belongings, stuffed them into a suitcase, and walked out of my life. Perhaps forever. The click of the door latch echoed like a death knell. I sank to the floor, the weight of what had just transpired crushing me. The life I knew, the future I'd envisioned, all crumbled to dust in the span of a few devastating hours. But even in the depths of my anguish, a flicker of something else ignited. Not just grief, not just pain, but a cold, hard ember of vengeance. They had wronged me, all of them, and they would pay. The days that followed were a blur of raw anger, wounded pride, and an all-consuming thirst for retribution. Sleep offered no escape, my mind a relentless projector replaying those incriminating videos, the images seared into my consciousness like brands. It wasn't enough that Jessica had shattered our vows, ripped apart our marriage with her infidelity. No, she had to drag these pathetic excuses for men into it as well. Tony, the plumber, with his smug grin and cheap charm, defiling my home, my bed, without a shred of remorse. And Chris, the neighbor, the supposed friend, willingly plunging a knife into my back, violating the sanctuary of my own apartment with his despicable act. They would all pay. I swore it to myself in the pre-dawn darkness, the city still asleep outside my window. Jessica, Tony, Chris. They would feel the sting of humiliation, the burn of public shame, the agonizing weight of consequences, the same way I was feeling now. A plan began to form, a twisted web of deceit and retribution, intricate and dark, that would ensnare them all. My hands, still trembling with residual anger, dialed Tony's number. My voice, carefully controlled, deceptively calm. "Hey, Tony, it's David. Got a plumbing issue. Maybe you could take a look?" The pieces clicked into place with unsettling ease. A casual mention to Chris about a business opportunity at a local bar. A text to Tony about a potential job downtown. Like moths to a flame, they took the bait, their egos and their greed blinding them to the reckoning that awaited. That night, as they arrived at the dimly lit dive bar in the village, my pulse hammered in my ears, adrenaline coursing through my veins. Tony sauntered in first, that infuriating smirk still plastered on his face. "Hey, man, what's this big job you needed to talk?" His words died in his throat. I slid the laptop across the sticky bar table, the incriminating footage glaring back at him in high-definition glory. His smug grin vanished, replaced by a mask of disbelief, then dawning terror. "You son of a—" I growled, leaning forward, my face inches from his. "Did you really think you could defile my home, my marriage, and just walk away?" Tony's cocky facade crumbled. He opened his mouth to stammer an excuse, but I cut him off with a dismissive wave. "Save it. I don't want to hear your pathetic lies." The bar door creaked open again. Chris stepped inside, brow furrowed in confusion. "David, what's going on here?" Without a word, I swiveled the laptop to face him. The video played on, the silent accusation hanging heavy in the air. Chris's expression morphed from bewilderment to horror as the truth unspooled before his eyes. "Oh God, David, I'm so sorry. It was a one-time thing, I swear. A moment of weakness." "Shut up!" I roared, slamming my fist on the table, beer glasses rattling. "I don't give a damn about your pitiful justifications. You're both gonna pay for what you've done, and you're gonna do it my way. They exchanged nervous glances, trapped, cornered. No escape from the dimly lit private room. No escape from the web of consequences I had so meticulously woven. "Listen closely," I hissed, leaning back, a cruel smile twisting my lips. "Either you follow my instructions to the letter, or those little home videos of yours get sent to your wives, your girlfriends. Hell, maybe I'll even post them online for the whole damn world to see." Tony paled further, his Adam's apple bobbing as he swallowed hard. "Well, what do you want us to do?" My grin widened, a predatory glint in my eyes. "Oh, you'll see. But first, I think a little public humiliation is in order." What followed was a night of orchestrated degradation, a sadistic puppet show with Tony and Chris as my unwilling performers. I forced them to kiss, their lips mashing together in a grotesque parody of passion, while I filmed it on my phone, the bar patrons watching in stunned silence, then murmuring shock and disgust. "That's it, boys," I taunted, reveling in their mortification. "Give us a show." Then came the dancing, their bodies gyrating and contorting in a mockery of rhythm, fueled by the cheap whiskey I forced down their throats, the raucous laughter of the bar echoing around them, a soundtrack to their shame. I made them buy round after round of drinks, draining their wallets, a pathetic payment for the pain they had inflicted on me. But the true coup de grace, the ultimate humiliation, came when I handed them my phone, the camera rolling, the red record light blinking ominously. "Slap each other, 3 times each, as hard as you can, and don't even think about holding back, or those videos go public, everywhere." They hesitated, their eyes pleading for mercy, for a shred of humanity I no longer possessed. Mercy was for the weak. This was justice, brutal and uncompromising. And they would submit. The first slap echoed like a gunshot in the suddenly hushed bar. Tony's head snapped to the side as Chris's hand connected with his cheek. Then came the second and the third, each blow more vicious than the last, fueled by fear and resentment, their own humiliation feeding their aggression. By the time it was over, red welts bloomed on their faces, their eyes downcast, defeated, utterly humiliated. I pocketed my phone, a twisted sense of satisfaction coiling in my gut. "There," I sneered, relishing their utter defeat. "Wasn't so hard, was it? Now get out of my sight. And don't worry," I lied, a cruel glint in my eyes. "Your little indiscretions will stay between us." Even as they slunk away, tails tucked firmly between their legs, I was already setting the next phase of my plan in motion. A few taps on my phone, and those incriminating videos and photos winged their way to the inboxes of their unsuspecting loved ones. And just for good measure, the slapping video went viral, posted in every local social media group I could find, ensuring their sordid tale would become the talk of the town, the digital scarlet letter branded onto their reputations. As for me, I felt a dark, hollow sense of vindication, a twisted satisfaction in knowing I had well and truly destroyed them, just as they had so callously destroyed my life. It was a Pyrrhic victory, a wasteland of ashes where my heart used to be. In the days and weeks that followed, the dominoes fell. Chris's wife, Sarah, blindsided and enraged, filed for divorce. Her lawyer, a shark from Midtown, Tony's girlfriend, Maria, threw him out on the street, his belongings tossed after him like garbage, and the plumbing company, citing moral turpitude, fired him in disgrace. His career flushed down the drain along with his reputation. My own divorce proceedings with Jessica ground on, each legal volley just another nail in the coffin of our shattered life. And through it all, I felt numb. The anger, the anguish, the burning desire for vengeance. It had all faded into a dull ache, a constant companion, a phantom limb reminding me of what I had lost. As the dust settled, and the wreckage of our lives lay strewn about, I found myself adrift, untethered from the future I had once so carefully planned. But in that hollowness, in that vast expanse of uncertainty, a faint flicker of something new began to glow. Not hope exactly, not yet, but a possibility, a chance to start again, to rebuild from the ashes of betrayal, to forge a new life, unburdened by the ghosts of the past. It would be a long, arduous journey, a climb out of the darkness, but one I was, perhaps, finally ready to begin. For now, though, I would simply focus on the present, on throwing myself into my work, losing myself in the city's relentless energy, surrounding myself with friends, with distractions, anything to keep the demons at bay, if only for a little while. And who knew? Perhaps somewhere down that long winding road, amidst the rubble and the ruins, I might just find the strength, the courage to open my heart again. Maybe, just maybe.